Today we're going to be solving systems of equations using the elimination method. This is probably the way that you were taught in high school. I'm going to do an easy, a medium, and a more difficult problem. All right, so the easy one is here on the screen. So our goal is to cancel either the x or the y, make it equal to 0, so we can solve for the other variable. Okay, and I like to use the addition method. So let's look at this one. If I were to put a plus sign here, notice that the plus 5y and the minus 5y gives me, if I were to add these, 0y. So that's what we're trying to achieve on every one of these. Okay, since I'm adding, I'll say 2x plus 3x is 5x plus 0y equals 15. Okay, so if I just ignore this 0y, so I have 5x is equal to 15. Divide both sides by 5. So x equals 3. Okay. Now we can take this 3 and plug it into either the top or the bottom equation. So if I take the top equation, 2x plus 5y equals 11. If I substitute a 3 for the x, like this, I would get 6 plus 5y equals 11. If I subtract 6 from both sides, I'll get 5y equals 5. So therefore, y equals 1. Okay, so I know the x and the y, and it should work for both equations. Okay, the second equation here is kind of a medium difficulty. It's not that difficult, but it requires a little bit more thought. Okay, here I don't have an easy way of making 1 0, not like before. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to multiply these times a scalar so that I can get either my x's or my y's to equal 0. So I know that my x's, I can make them both equal to 6, one a positive 6 and one a negative 6. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the first equation, 3x plus 4y equals 11, and I'm going to multiply this times 2. Okay, and then the second equation, to make it equal to 6, I'm going to say 2x minus 5y equals negative 8. I'm going to multiply this times a negative 3. Okay, so let's perform these operations. So that gives me 6x plus 8y equals 22. And here I have minus 6x. Minus times a minus is a positive, plus 15y equals 24. Okay, notice that my 6's cancel here, so that all that is going to cancel. So if I'm adding up my y's, I would have 23 y's. Okay, 22 plus 24 is 46. So y equals, divide both sides by 23. So y is going to equal 2. Okay, I can plug this 2 in to either equation, and I guess I'll take the top equation. So in the top equation, we have 3x plus 4y equals 11. So if I were to plug in a y there, so I would have 3x plus 4 times y, which is 2, equals 11. So that's 3x plus 8 equals 11. subtract 8 from both sides. So I would have that 3x equals 3. So x equals 1. So that would be my values for this equation. So you notice that when I multiply times a scalar, I have to multiply all the way across. So remember that. And I prefer to add instead of subtract. So by multiplying it times the -3 scalar on the second one, then I don't have to worry about making mistakes when I start subtracting numbers. So it's much easier to add than it is to subtract. In this third example, I have 3 variables and 3 equations. Since we need to do a little housekeeping now, so this is going to be number 1 here. This will be equation number 2 and equation number 3. So I'll be referred to them as 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so it looks like the first thing I need to do is to add number 1 and 2, because I can see this will be an easy way to get my y's to cancel out. So I'm going to take my first equation. So it's 3x minus 2y plus 4z equals 35. I don't have to multiply it times anything, but the second equation I am. Okay, so I'm going to take the second equation, which is minus 4x plus y minus 5z equals negative 36. I'm going to multiply this times a 2. Okay? So if I were to multiply it times a 2, so 2 times 4, that gives me a negative 8. Okay, 2 times y gives me 2y. 2 times negative 5 gives me a negative 10z. And 2 times negative 36 will give me negative 72. Okay, so now my y's are equal to 0. So now I'm able to simply combine these together here. So 3x minus 8x gives me a minus 5x. Okay, 10z, a minus 10z and a positive 4z gives me a minus 6z. Okay, and let's see, 72, 35, that should be what, negative 37. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and multiply it all times negative 1. Get rid of all these negative numbers here. So if I multiply it times negative 1, I would get a positive, and a positive. Okay, I'm going to label this as equation A. Okay, so equation A here is equal to 5x plus 6z equals 37. Okay, now let's add equations 2 and 3 together, because we need to get rid of the y in the second equation also. So I'm going to add numbers 2 and 3. Okay, so equation 2 is minus 4x plus y minus 5z equals negative 36. And then number 3 is 5x minus 3y plus 3z equals 31. Okay, so I'm going to multiply equation number 2 by 3. Okay, so let's multiply this equation by the number 3 here. Okay. All right, when I do this, I would get minus 12x. All right, that gives me 3y. 3 times negative 5 gives me negative 15z. Negative 36 times 3 is 108. Okay, so let's take this. The y's are gone again. All right, so minus 12x plus 5x gives me minus 7x. Okay, so I have a minus 15z and a plus 3z, so that's going to give me minus 12z. Okay, so I think I forgot a negative sign here. Yes. All right, so that will give me negative 108 plus 31 will give me negative 77. And again, I'm going to multiply all this times negative 1. So that will give me 7x plus 12z equals 77. And I'm going to call this equation B. All right, so now I have two variables, x and z, and I have two equations. So I can solve this like I did some of the easier problems now. All right, so if this is equation B, I'm going to put equation A here with it. So 5x plus 6z equals 37. All right, if I were to multiply times the bottom one here times 2, multiply this one times 2, okay, I would get let's see, I need a negative 2, don't I? Yes, a negative 2. So this will give me negative 10x minus 12z negative 74. All right, so let's add these together. So that gives me a minus 3x. Okay, these cancel. Minus 3x equals 70. That gives me a 3, I think. Yes. All right, so x there is equal to negative 1. So that's one of my answers. Okay, let's substitute the value of x into a. Okay, so my a was 5x plus 6z equals 37. So that's going to be 5 times negative 1 plus 6z equals 37. So 6z, okay, 37 plus 5 will give me 42. So z is equal to 42 divided by 6, which is 7. So z is equal to 7. All right, so now we have x and z. So let's just take one of our top equations and we'll substitute it in. So my first equation was 3x minus 2y plus 4z equals 35. Okay, I know that my x is negative 1, so 3 times negative 1. We do not know what y is yet, so minus 2y plus 4 times z, which is 7, equals 35. So that gives me a minus 3 minus 2y plus 28 equals 35. Combining like terms, I have minus 2y on this side. All right, so that'll be 28. That gives me 10 on this side. All right, so y is going to equal negative 5. Okay. So I know that x, y, and z now. So y is negative 5, x is negative 1, and z was 7. Okay, I hope this was informative to you. Thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe.
I will see you soon with another video.